This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last class we were talking about the classes. So today we will try to implement some classes. So we will talk about list class and the tuple class. So list class and the tuple class methods. Okay, so whenever I'm talking about the list class, okay, so let's first create a list class object. So list class object. Okay, so list. So what is a list basically? A list is a collection of heterogeneous elements. A list is a collection of heterogeneous elements. Heterogeneous elements means all types of elements. All types of elements. List is a collection of all heterogeneous elements, that is all types of elements arranged in a sequence. Okay, arranged in a sequence. It is mutable. It is mutable. Okay, so it is mutable. So mutable means we can make the changes. We can make the changes to the list. We can make the changes to the list. Okay, so we can make changes to the list. Okay, so what are the list methods that will support? So list methods. Okay, so list methods we will try and understand here. So the list methods, first of all we have to create the list. So list is equal to, so we can say 4 comma 5.3 comma so we can say something like true, we can say none, so we can say something like python. So these are all the elements that I can create. So we can also have some duplicate elements. Okay, so we can also have some duplicate elements. So 4. Okay, so and then I can have something like false. Okay, so these are all the elements of the list. So we have created a list of elements. We have created a list of elements. So somebody, if I try and say print of type of LST. So if I'm saying print of type of LST, you are going to have a class list. Okay, so class list. So we need to talk about the talk about the methods in this. So the methods in this list are going to be something like dir of LST. So if I'm saying dir of LST, I'm going to get the methods. So these are all the methods of the list. So these are all the methods of the list. So whenever I'm talking about the method, so this is the list of methods. Okay, so list of or I'll say methods of list. So methods of list. So we have append method, we have clear method, we have copy method, count, extend, and all. So if you want the documentation of this, I can say help of LST. So if I say help of LST here, so I'm going to get all the documentation. Okay, so I'm going to get all the documentation of the elements. Okay, so all the documentation I can get it from here. So no need of remembering all uh, the things. So we can just get the documentation from here. So the first method is going to be the append method. So what does an append method do here? So append method will add an object. So self means it is a instance method. So self means it is an instance method. So it will add the object, add the given object to the end of the list. Now, for example, this is my list. Okay, so this is my list. So if I am trying to talk about, okay, so if I'm trying to talk about the LST here, so LST is going to be what? LST is going to be this. Okay, so this is what we have created. So what is append going to do? So append will add a particular object to the end of the list. Now, for example, if I'm saying LST dot append, so LST dot append, suppose if I'm trying to append something like 99. So now after the append, you can see that the list got added with one more element. So the list got added with one more element. So this is the element that we have added at the end of the list. Okay, so at the end of the list, I have added an element. Okay, so I have added the element at the end of the list. So what we have done here, we have done an append. Okay, so append means we have appended an element. So next is clear method. So what does a clear method do over here? So clear method will be, okay, so what a clear method will do? So clear method will remove all the items. Okay, so it will remove all the items from the list. Okay, so self we don't have to pass any value. So self we don't have to pass any value. So we can even ignore this. We can just put it this way. So clear, no need to pass any values. Now, for example, I have a list. Let's say I have a list. So now I will say lst dot clear. So these are the elements before I do any operation. Now, if I am saying lst dot clear, if I am saying lst dot clear, and then if you are going for lst, so after clearing the elements, so you will be left over with no elements. You will be left over with no elements. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to clear. So we are trying to clear. Clear means we are removing all the elements from the list. Okay, so we are clearing all the elements from the list. Okay, so means we have removed all the elements. So we have removed all the elements from the list. So we have cleared everything. Okay, so in that way you are looking at the clear method. Okay, so we are looking at the clear method. So next we will look at the copy method. Okay, so what does a copy method do? So copy method will return a shallow copy. So what is this shallow copy basically? So shallow copy means, so shallow copy means, okay, so suppose, so if we are making any changes, any changes to the original, those changes will not be, will not be applicable, will not be applicable to the duplicate, to the duplicate and vice versa, to the duplicate and vice versa. Okay, so there is another style of copy which we call it as deep copy. We call it as deep copy. If you are making any changes to the original, those changes will be applicable to the duplicate and vice versa. Okay, let's understand now what exactly I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to say LST1 is equal to 8 comma 9 comma 5 comma 3 comma 1. Okay, for convenience I'm just keeping numbers. Anything you can keep. Now if I'm saying LST2 is equal to LST1, so this is going to be a deep copy. So this is going to be a deep copy. So LST2 is equal to LST1. So this is called as a deep copy. This is called as a deep copy. So now, for example, I will display LST1. If I display LST1, so LST1 is going to be this one, and LST2 if I am displaying, so LST2 also will be the same. Okay, so because both are copies, so you have the same. Now, for example, I will add an element, so or else I'll append an element. So I'll append an element something like 7 to LST1. Okay. Now, obviously, LST1 will change. Okay, so obviously there will be a change in LST1. And if you observe LST2 also, LST2 also will have the same change. So LST2 also will have the same change applied. So we have done the operation on LST1, but we have done the operation on LST1, but the changes are appearing in LST2 also. Okay, so changes are appearing in LST2 also. So this is what is called a deep copy. This is what is called a deep copy. So deep copy means if you're making changes into the original, okay, so you're making changes to the original, duplicate also will be applied. Okay, so and vice versa in the sense, now for example, if I'm making changes into LST2, okay, so otherwise we will make one more copy. So we'll do it once again. So same deep copy. Now what I'll do is I'll make a change to append of let's say 6. Okay, so append of 6. Now I will say LST2. So LST2 obviously will get the 6 added at the end, and LST1 also. So LST1 also will have the same changeover. Okay, so LST1 also will have the same changeover. Okay, so how you can look at it? So you can look at it as we are making changes to the original, duplicate gets affected. So if you are making changes to the duplicate, the original also gets affected. So this is what is called a deep copy. Okay. Same thing if you are going to work with a shallow copy. Okay. So if you are going to work with a shallow copy, so in the shallow copy, what you can say is you can use the copy function. So this is the shallow copy. So the shallow copy, what happens is, so you will have, okay, so LST1. So what is LST1 here? So LST1 is 89531. Okay, and LST2 is going to be the same. Obviously, we know that. Now we will make change into ls1 dot append. So obviously there will be 7 added. But LST2, if you observe, we will not have that change taking place. Okay, so we will not have that change taking place because LST2 we are not having any change taking place because we are looking at the shallow copy. So for shallow copy there won't be any change that will take place. Okay, so there won't be any change that will take place. So that's how you are looking at the shallow copy basically. Okay, right. So now we will look at the shallow copy once again. We are making the change to the original, duplicate is not affected. Now we will again say dot copy, and this is a shallow copy as we know. Okay, now I'm making change to the duplicate. I'm making change to the duplicate. Obviously, it will be done. And when you are looking at LST1 here, so you don't see the change. Okay, so why? Because it is a shallow copy. It is a shallow copy. So in this way you are looking at the shallow copy and the deep copy process. Okay, right. So next method we will talk about is the count method. So what does the count method do here? So count method will return the number of occurrences. Okay, so number of occurrences of a particular element. Now let's say I have LST1 is equal to this, and I will go for comma, so 8 comma 3 comma, okay, so 8 comma 3 comma, okay, so I'm saying 1. Okay, so now I will say LST1. Okay, so LST1 dot count. So lst1 dot count. So count of, let's say, 8. Okay, so count of 8. So it will return the number of values of 2. Okay, number of values of 8. Okay, so in the same way, if I'm asking it to go for count of like say 4, now it will say there is no 4 at all. Okay, so there is no 4 at all. So what we are looking at here, lst1 dot count of 4. So we are looking at 0. lst dot count of 8, we are looking at 2. Okay, so 8 count is 2. So 4 count is going to be 0. Okay, because 4 are not there yet. Okay, so that's how the count works. Okay, right. Next, we will go for the extend. So what does this extend does? So in this extend, we are going to look at the append of elements. Okay, so extend or by append the elements into the iterable. Now, for example, if I am going for lst2 is equal to, okay, so lst2 is equal to this. Now, what I will do is I will say lst2 dot append. So append of, okay, so append of, I'll give some elements. Okay, so 1 comma 6 comma 9 comma 5 comma, okay, we are giving duplicate elements. Okay, so 7 comma 2. Okay, so 7 comma 2. So if you see here, lst2 will become a list with these elements. Okay, so with these elements. Okay, so this is append. So this is append. So we did not see the extent. So what does append say? Append will say that I will add this list of elements. Okay, but what does an extend do at the same time? So extend is going to have all these elements. Okay, so extend is going to have all these elements like a array, single value. Okay, like a single value, not a collection of values. So that is the major difference between the extend and the append. Okay, so append is just adding an element at the end, but extend will add the number of elements. Extend will add the number of elements. Okay, so extend will add the number of elements. So that's how you are looking at the extend. Then we are looking at the index. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the index here, so what does index will do? So index will start searching. So index will start searching for a value and returns its first index. Returns its first index. Now, for example, this is my lst2. So this is my lst2. So in this lst2, I want to search for 1. Okay, so I want to search for 1. So now if I'm saying lst2 dot index of 1, what is the index of 1? So where I started, so I started at 0. I started at 0 and my searching will go on until the end of the list. So the maximum number I can give is this one. But anyhow, it will start from 0. It will goes on up to the end of the list. End of the list. Okay, so in that way you are going to check up the index. Okay, now for example, if I'm saying index of something like so 1 2 3 4, 4 is not right. 4. So index of 4. So if we are saying index of 4, it will say, what it will say? It will say 4 is not in the list. So 4 is not in the list. So returns a value. So what it returns? It returns uh, a value error. So what is the value error here? Value error is saying 4 is not in the list. So in that way you are looking at the value error as well. Okay, so that's what the index is all about. And then next we will talk about the insert. So what does an insert tell you? So insert will tell you that you insert an element at a particular index, at a particular index. Okay, now for example, I am having these elements. Okay, so I'm having these elements. Now let's say I want to add lst2 dot insert. Okay, so lst2 dot insert. So at 0 1 2. Okay, so 0 1 2, I want to add something like 4. So what happens is, so where it should be added, I said you get added at so you should get added at which location. So this is actually 0. So what happens, I'll tell you here. So this is index. So this is index. Okay, so this is index, 0th index, first index, second index, third index, fourth index, and fifth index. Okay, so what we are saying, you insert. Okay, so what we are saying, insert 4 at second index. Insert 4 at second index. Okay, so or you can say before insert 4. Okay, so 4 before. Okay, so no, I'll say before. So we will follow the documentation. So insert 4 before the second index. Okay, so simply what it does is 0 1 2. So the 4 will be added here and 2 will be moved up. Okay, so literally what happens, I'll tell you when you are saying this. Okay, so what happens is 0 1. So 2 will be moved up. So in 2 you will get, so in 2, so this is actually 2 and all. So what will happen is, so here 2 will be given as 4. 2 will be given as 4. Okay, so 2 will be given as 4. And what about the others? So others keep moving. Others keep moving. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so others keep moving. So what is the result here? So this is the result. Okay, so that's it. That is how you are getting this particular result. So that is what is insert for you. Okay, then we will talk about the pop. So what does pop will tell you? So pop will remove and return an item at the index. So default last means if you are not giving anything, it will ultimately return. Okay, so it will ultimately delete the minus one index. So what is minus one index? First of all, so same list you can take here. So we can also have the index. Okay, so we can also have the index. So the index will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so what we are looking at here, so index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is positive index, and at the same time you can also have the negative index. Okay, so how we can look at the negative index here? So the negative index can be looked at like, so this will be taken as minus 1. So this will be taken as minus 2, and this will be taken as minus 3, and this will be taken as minus 4, and this will be taken as minus 5, and this will be taken as minus 6. Okay, so in this way you are going to look at the things. Okay, so minus 1 to minus 6. Okay, now index of minus 1 means it will be the last element that will be removed. Okay, anyhow you can give your own index, no problem. So now what I'm saying is I will say lst2. Okay, so I'll say lst2 dot pop. So when you are saying lst2 dot pop, it will return what is it deleting. Okay, so 6 is returned and deleted. 6 is returned and deleted. So 6 is returned as well as deleted. Okay, so 6 is returned and deleted. And then if you are looking at pop of, like say if I'm saying, okay, once again I'll write it. So here again I'll write, so pop of 2. So pop of 2 means, okay, so here I will print this also. So now what is LS2 result? LS2 result is 89531. So 89531. So pop of 2, as you can see here, so you got the result 5. And here I will say LST2, and this is going to give you 89316. Okay, so 89316. So what you are looking at here, pop of 2 means 012. This got deleted. Okay, so 5 gets deleted. 5 is returned and deleted. 5 is returned and deleted. So this is the pop for you. Okay, so this is pop, and then coming to the 9. So when you are looking at remove, so what does remove tell you? So remove is going to tell you that remove the first occurrence of a value. So it removes the first occurrence of a particular value. Now I can have many elements. Okay, so let's say I have all these elements. Okay, so now lst2 dot remove. So lst2 dot remove. So remove of 1. Okay, so remove of 1. If I am saying, so remove 1, if I am saying, I will go and remove the first occurrence of LST2. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So which one is removed now? So 1 is above 6, and I mean 1 is before 6 and after 6 also. Now what is removed here? So 1 which is there after 3 and before 6 got deleted. Okay, so the first appearance of 1 got deleted. So like that we will have the values deleted. Okay, now for example, if I am saying lst2 dot remove, okay, so remove 4. So we don't have that 4 value. Okay, so we don't have that 4 value. So it says you are removing an element which is not available in the list. So it is not available in the list. Okay, okay, so okay, so we are looking at the remove here. So remove of 4. So list dot remove and all. Okay, so if the element is not there, it will not. Okay, so next is reverse. So what is reverse going to do? So it reverses in place. So reverses in place in the sense, reverse the list, reverse the list, reverse the list. Okay, so it reverses the list. So how the reverse happens, we will tell you. So list 2, so we are having this, and then we are looking at lst2 dot reverse. Okay, so lst2 dot reverse, so all the elements will get reversed at the same time. Okay, so all the elements will get reversed. So simply you are running this. Okay, so what I'm getting 61398. So all the elements get reverse basically. Okay, so that's how you are looking at the reverse. Okay, so you are looking at the reverse. So we are talking about the reverse in that way. Okay, next is sort. So what does this sort tell us? So sort will sort the list in ascending order. Okay, now for example, if I have a plain list with a sort function, so the sort function, so what we can see is we can see ascending order. Okay, so we can see a ascending order. Okay, so now for example, if you want descending order, if you want descending order, you can use the reverse is equal to true. So reverse is equal to true. So you are saying reverse is equal to true. So once you say reverse is equal to true, you are looking at this. Okay, so you are looking at 98631. So you are looking at 98631. So what is this 98631 basically? So it is the descending order. Okay, so it is the descending order basically. Okay, so when you said reverse is equal to true, you are getting the reverse order. Okay, you are getting the reverse order. And what about this key? So key is a function. Okay, key is a function to work with the custom sorting, work with the customized sorting. Now for example, sort the names of the countries according to the length, sort the names of the countries according to the length. Now for example, I will take uh, country length, and I'll take something like x, and I will say return x dot length. Okay, so x dot length. Okay, so now I will write lst is equal to, I'll give list of countries. Let's say India, uh, so right, so India, Afghanistan, and Australia. Okay, so I want to sort them in order. Okay, so in order. Okay, so and I will give something like uh, Russia. Okay, so Russia. So simply I am writing lst dot sort, lst dot sort according to the count length, and you can say uh, reverse is equal to false. If you don't give false also, it will be same. So lst. Okay, so lst. So first you will run this, then you will run this. Now what you, okay, key is equal to, okay, so key is equal to and reverse is equal to. So now, one second, so count of length, so lst, so fine, so lst dot sort, so sort of key is going to be count of length, and the, so lst history object does not, okay, sorry, len of x, sorry, len of x, not x dot lens, I'm using pandas basically. Okay, so this one, So this is our list, and this is going to be India, Russia, Australia, and Afghanistan, because we are sorting in the length, sorting the list of elements according to the length. Okay, so then if you are going for reverse is equal to true, we're going for reverse is equal to true, so it is going to give you first Afghanistan, and then you are going to take up this. Okay, so in this way you are going to look at the list methods. Okay, so these are all the list methods that you need to understand. Okay, so whenever we talk about the list, so this is the way that these are the things that we need to go for. Okay, so this is how we can look at the list methods. Okay, right. So, and then we will talk about tuple. So tuple is similar to a list, but it is so tuple similar to a list, but it is immutable. But it is immutable. Okay, so but it is immutable. Okay, so if you want to create a tuple is equal to, so just go for these elements. You can create anything, of course. So if you can go for this into 13689. So if you say dir of tpl, so if you say dir of tpl, you will get only two methods. Okay, sorry. So this is list, and here I am saying list. Okay. So if I am saying dir of tpl, you will get only two methods. Okay, so you will get only two methods. So what are the two methods that you got? The two methods that you got are nothing but count and index. Okay, so count and index. So index this one, and the count. So count means, so here this is the second one basically. I'll need to just change them to okay, count. I need to just change them to the tuple, that's it. So these are only two methods possible, because all the other methods will try to update. Will try to update. So this two methods will not update. So now, for example, if I'm saying TPL, okay, so TPL, I will say count of 8. So count of 8. So here I will say TPL only. So count of 8 will give me what? It will give me 2. Now at the same time you go for TPL count of 4. So it will give me 0. Why? Because we are not having any elements. Okay, so in that way you are looking at it. And then same thing here. Suppose if you are having tuple, okay, I'll change it to tuple. So this is also a tuple rather, and here tuple dot, so tuple dot index of 1. What you can see 4. So same answer. Same thing if I'm writing tuple index of 4, you are going to get, okay, so you are going to get the value, the same thing. So same thing, so but there it was list, now here it is tuple. So that's the only difference between the list and the tuple. So tuple will be immutable. Immutable means it won't try and accept any methods for updation. Okay, so that's the way that we are looking at the, okay, so these are the tuple and the list method. So in the next session, we will be understanding about the str set and the dictionary. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Arvind. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.